Alright, this is a run through of my game Might Be Monsters. This game is set up for 2 players, and so first we have the 3 monsters at the top. It's one more than the number of players. We have the major quest, also one more than the number of players, and the minor quest. Notice that the monsters don't have a deck because they won't be refilled as they're taken during the game. The tavern, which has 4 helpers, always 4, independent of the number of players, but I've removed 3 sets of the tavern cards, so one of each class makes a set, and so you would use those if you had more players. I also have other cards that I've removed, the minor and major deck. These were because I noticed that during a 4-player game, I didn't have enough cards. These would run out faster, so I added those. There are other monsters in the game, so for now we just show 3. The object of the game is to get victory points. And you can see the monsters have the most. There are other cards that have victory points, and some of the minor quests have victory points, although most of them do not. Everybody's dealt a character card, and the first player gets no helpers, the last player gets 2, and everyone else would get 1 helper. So during your turn, you can take tavern cards. So let's see, since we are a bard, let's go for this mage. Mage and a cleric, we need another cleric. So one option during your turn is to take 2 tavern cards. Everything refills after your turn. The rogue. Another thing you can do is to take cards from the draw deck. I mean, face down, just like in Ticket to Ride if you want. Let's see, we have R, S, and a C. So you can use these cards to buy. There's an R, S, and a C, so we need an F. So we're going to draw. Yes. Another action you can do, instead of drawing a second tavern card, you can use it to lock one of yours. So we know that he needs, or she needs, another cleric to get this card. So instead of drawing a second tavern card, I'm going to lock this one. You just turn it sideways to indicate that it cannot be stolen. So another action during your turn you can do is to steal a card. Well, we need an F. We have a C and an M, and we could collect this card if we have an F, since, we could draw from here 2 random cards to see if we can get a C, or we can take a F. And we know the rogue wants the F to take this card, so we're going to steal it. When you steal a card, you take it, and it becomes locked. The person that you're stolen from can lock a card, or optionally, and I haven't tried this rule out much, they can take one of the tavern cards. So we will do that option now. So they just get a random card. One of their choice. So that's all your turn. If you steal a card, then your turn's over. Let's see. We don't have enough. Rogue, we need a fighter. We can't steal the fighter back. We can go for one of these cards. We don't really have enough because they require fighter and fighter. We don't really have enough. So what we're going to do is to draw 2 random tavern cards. Oh, there's the fighter we need. Now, one of the rules I have just added to the game is that if you steal another fighter, it's because you could just try to make sure that no one can get one of the cards, is that you can't lock a card if you've already have it locked. So if I stole this fighter, I would have to either keep it not locked or I could just throw it away. So instead of stealing the fighter, or I could perhaps steal the shaman or something to keep the rogue from getting this card, I think I'm going to go ahead and claim this shaman quest. So what you do is C, M, and an F. That's probably not the best buy. So you spend the helpers as money, and this would add to you. And so the turn is over once you buy one of the cards. The rogue now has enough. Let's see, a fighter, a shaman, a fighter, shaman, cleric, and the rogue. Now, because I am a rogue, this counts as my money, but I don't have to spend it. the same way when you have another card with the icons on the same side, these are not spendable. You get to keep them every turn. So it's kind of like experience. So I will spend those and get this card. Put this under here. And now we have 1 victory point. Plus we have a Shaman power in addition to our Rogue. And we have a Bard and Shaman over here. So the cards will keep being flipped out. Obviously when this deck runs out, we will shuffle these and put them back in. And the game will continue like that until all the monsters are gone. As soon as all the monsters are gone, then we sum up the victory points and whoever has the most wins. There are powers on every character. For instance, this one allows you to steal a locked card, but you can only do that once, and if you steal it twice, the card that you've previously stolen goes back to the person you stole from. And they are double-sided, so I can get the most special powers per number of cards. The Bard can do other things. Let's see what this one does. Charm. So when taking tavern cards, store a third. So if I wanted 3 cards, I could take these and I could just store this one off to the side, or perhaps under here, so that no one else could take it. I have the only option for taking this, but someone could steal this card. So those are some of the special powers that all the characters have. And of course, we have 1 for each class. We got the fighter, the shaman, the mage, the cleric. Oops, that's the old cleric. I don't have that one. And, well, that's pretty much the game. Some of the design decisions I'm going to have to decide is, if I want more powers, I don't want to have another fighter. So I might have a female fighter card, so that somebody is a female fighter and somebody has the male fighter, and so we have the opposite gender of all the character cards. That we have more variety for special powers. I used to have wild tavern cards, and I took them out, and I had multiple sort of dual class tavern cards too, and I tried those, but it made them too powerful. I could make them so they couldn't be stolen, but then again, you'd have to only draw 1, so it's kind of the ticket to ride thing. I'd rather just choose 2. Choose 2 where you can lock 1. I didn't explain this card. This is another special ability. If you have one of these, let's suppose that you had another third player having these cards, and I needed the F to get this, I could request of this player that I could borrow this ability to buy this card. And they could either accept or refuse, and if they accepted, they could get 2 of the tavern cards. Optionally, and I've tried to work it out so that if you use the F to get one of these, you could randomly get this card for free. Although that's probably overpowered, so I decided we'll just go with the 2 tavern cards if you use the borrow ability. What I was thinking is that I would rather have this borrow ability on these lower level cards because they're easier to get. And one reason is that I don't think these cost enough. They only cost 1 more icon than the cards without the victory point, and if you notice, the ones with 2 cost 4 more than the one without the victory point. So I'd probably need to make these cost more, but I didn't want these to be so difficult to get. I'd rather for them to come out more often. So I kind of wanted these to perhaps have this ability, because I'm not sure this ability is worth a victory point. If you notice, they cost the same. So maybe I could make these slightly cheaper. If I did move the ability down here and the victory point up here, then that means all of these cards are always worth 2 victory points. That's kind of boring, so I might want to keep them up there. I'm not sure what to do about that. The monsters, you see that they're the only cards that require 3 of a class. So you see there, almost everything else requires 2. Well, that's just another thing. So I guess that's all of Might Be Monsters.